All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're on with another episode of The State of Things. I'm your host. No, I'm not. How are you gentlemen today?
Very good.
Good. Glad to be here.
Excellent. So we're going to start this episode off with a quick little game of Rank That Thing. Today we're going to do Rank That Thing Chips Edition. So we're going to go in here and, I guess, clockwise motion and rank our top 3 chips. No, I would think better yet, we're going to go around the table, top 3, but we're going to start at number 3. You get what I'm saying? Then we'll come back around 2, 1. All right. I'll give you about 5 seconds to think of your favorite 3 chips.
All right.
You don't have to go first. I can try and go first if you would like.
What's your number 3?
My number 3 is probably going to be rolled gold pretzels, but specifically that brand.
Those are good. It's not number 3 though.
I might agree hearing them after I hear y'all's.
I think number 3 for me. Oh gosh, it's either between like regular Lay's or regular Doritos.
Those are 2 very different chips.
Well, Lay's are just synonymous with summer, I feel like, and cheeseburgers and hot dogs.
Okay.
But Doritos are great if you put them in ham sandwiches.
Okay, I agree.
So I think Doritos are number 3 for me.
Doritos are number 3.
Yeah, I think so.
I can't. Okay, Lay's.
Lay's have been eliminated for me.
Thank goodness.
I think my number 3 is Hot Cheetos.
Hot Cheetos.
But like,
I forgot about Munchies.
like the Ruffles kind.
I think Munchies are kind of out. It's too many.
It's too many different things in one.
Yeah.
Okay. So Doritos and Hot Cheetos.
Yeah.
What's yours?
Number 2
What was yours? Okay, yeah.
was the pretzels.
Yeah. What's
Number 2. I think I'm going to go with dill pickle chips.
Those are pretty good.
What?
Yeah.
Dill pickle chips?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a thing?
Yes.
You know that's a thing.
No, I've never had
Pickle
them.
flavored chips.
Oh, that sounds disgusting.
It's basically just salt and vinegar chips.
Oh, okay. My number 2 would be sour cream and onion Pringles.
That's a good choice. A lot better than regular Lay's.
Well, that's one of their number 2.
Yeah. I'm glad they didn't make number 3.
I think I'm going to go with kettle cooked jalapeno chips.
Oh, that's
Austin's liking the spicy stuff.
an indie pick, I think. It's a little out there.
Like,
Say that one more time for the sponsor.
I don't know what brand they are, but like if you go to a deli like Jersey Mike's or like Lenny's Sub Shop or something like that, they got the kettle chips there. Yeah, the jalapeno ones.
Okay. All right, number 1, Cody.
Number 1. I think I just got to go with the OG Doritos.
The red?
Yeah.
So that was my number 3. Okay.
We're back to the kettle chips.
Well,
Salt and
it's your
vinegar.
turn. Salt and vinegar?
All right.
All right, we're
That's
going
my
to have
favorite.
Mine is an obvious Dots pretzels.
Dots pretzels.
The regular flavor is by far my number 1.
I really do enjoy Dots pretzels. They're quite expensive now, though.
They are,
Like,
but
they
they are
have
so
shot up.
good. That's the best thing to come out of North Dakota.
You compound, I guess, their popularity, because they definitely have gotten a lot more popular. 'Cause I don't even know if Target, I think they might have lost their Target deal, because I haven't seen them in Target in a while.
They're in Kroger,
Yeah.
and they're in Love's. Travel stop now. Yeah.
I have started seeing them like everywhere.
Because you can buy, I think you can get them in a 3-pound bag, costs $13.99 now.
Yeah, there's like a 13, there's a 7, and then there's a really little one for like 4.
Yeah,
But now with inflation, next year it'll be like 15.
Yeah, that's a good point. So we got
I saw a meme with 50 Cent. It was 50 Cent in 2020 was 50 Cent, obviously. And then 50 Cent in 2021 was 61 cents.
So let's just recap. We had from top to bottom pretzels, pickle chips. No, I did this wrong already. Doritos, pickle chips, pretzels. 1, 2, 3.
From top to bottom, yeah. Mine were Dots, Pringles, sour cream and onion, and then regular Doritos.
Good choices.
I
Mr. Austin?
had the salt and vinegar chips,
Good one.
jalapeno chips,
Good one.
and hot Cheetos.
All right. Well, that will close this episode of.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah. What did I call this segment?
Rank that thing.
Rank that thing. Okay. So yes, episode 1 of Rank That Thing has concluded. But speaking of inflation and Dots pretzels, were we talking about something with inflation?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
we were.
Well, I think inflation is a known fact to everybody. I feel like everything's more expensive. Is your Instacart orders, are they more expensive now?
It's kind of hard to determine. I think everything has gotten more expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even just like the small things, I think have at least gotten a few cents more expensive. And just everything that involves food has gotten more expensive. My orders at Taco Bell have gotten more expensive.
Yeah. And if you don't keep track of it, it's kind of hard to like prove it.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Because like the most obvious inflation I think in the last 10 years was Little Caesars $5 pizzas going up to, well, it's going to be $5.55.
Yeah.
So an 11% increase, right?
I don't even know if it's still in the fives now.
And it might be more than that.
I think
now.
it is. It rounds on up to 6 now.
So
Yeah.
clearly.
And their sauce didn't get any better.
Well, you've got one of the executives of Kroger warned that grocery prices are about to become even higher. Obviously, inflation's a thing now, but they anticipate a raise of 2 to 3% over the second half of 2021, and they think that they'll pass that price on to the consumer when necessary. So, if you think about all the things that will be increased, but 2 to 3%, then that's just groceries, and then you've got gas, which has already been higher, but luckily gas historically is lower in the winter and higher in the summer, so hopefully that will go down. But
It has been getting a little higher lately, I feel like.
yeah, well, anytime there's like a major event like Afghanistan, it's going to go up, obviously. And then when we had
hurricane too.
yeah, well, apparently the hurricane like messed up one of the major ports in Louisiana that brought in like 10% of U.S. oil.
I just noticed like over the last month it's probably gone up like 20 cents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there was a time I think it was last year, it might have been a year and a half ago, but on Pearson, there was a gas station that was $1 per gallon.
I remember that.
And I went and filled up completely for like $15.
Yeah.
And now it's close to 40.
Yeah.
And
I
that
filled up for, I think it was, what was it? Like $6. I wasn't completely empty, but this is back last year. This isn't that kind of off topic, but back to, because I don't get to tell this story often. At Kroger, you get to use your Kroger points.
Oh yeah.
And I think
They've been cheap lately, by the way. Just give me that 10% or that 10-cent discount for
Oh
a gallon.
yeah, like I didn't know how many Kroger points I had, and it was just like use the maximum. I was like, sure. So I did, and it was already really low during COVID.
Yeah.
This was like back, I guess, like last summer, and it comes out, and I was paying 64 cents a gallon.
Dadgum.
Yeah,
That's great.
it was, but it probably wiped out like 100,000 Kroger points.
My gosh,
No,
you probably
gosh.
wiped out everything.
Yeah.
Like a whole year of shopping.
Seriously. With gas prices, it's obvious when you have a Republican in charge, the whole Republican platform is to be self-sufficient in energy supply and energy production. And then when you have the Democrat usually involved, it's to kind of wipe away a little bit of production due to environmental factors. So I think you've seen that a little bit with the Keystone Pipeline being shut down. Probably would have reduced prices a little bit for us. So yeah, gas prices.
The Keystone Pipeline. How long was that in the works for?
Well, it was in the
15
works
years?
for a while, but because they kept getting lawsuit after lawsuit thrown against them,
Yeah.
and then you would think it was a really, really Republican thing, but it was supposed to bring gas from Canada into the United States. But, Trudeau, their prime minister, was very angry at Biden when he got in. As I think it was on the first day executive order. He ended it.
Yeah.
And it cost him, I don't know how many, it's maybe several thousand jobs, just wiped away like that. So
Jobs that existed or like possible jobs?
It was like pipeline worker jobs, wasn't it?
yeah, and of course there are secondary jobs, once that takes place.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there were people already, involved with it.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah. I mean, somebody had to head up the marketing campaign.
Yeah. Somebody has to run the Facebook page.
Yeah, exactly. Gotta fit them 140 characters in there. Wrong platform.
Yes.
But more specifically, what we were talking about was there was a comment from a Kroger.
Yeah, the executive. That's what we just said.
What did you say that?
Yeah.
Oh,
He's just saying that, prices will increase 2 to 3% probably by the end of the year over where they're already at, and they're already inflated. You just think about like a steak you can buy back in the, I guess, last year was like $7. Now it's close to 12.
oh,
Yeah.
It's way worse.
I definitely noticed that because it was in the single digits, and now it's in the double digits. Like every time I go and I'm looking through there, I'm like, man.
Yeah, you're paying like the same what you're for bottom tier steak.
Yeah.
Now you're paying what you were paying for like A5 beef,
Yeah.
or at least somewhat comparable to that, which is just tragic.
And you have to think
all
about it. It's
around.
like an actual, like your cost of living goes up, and it is a tax, whether you want to say it
yeah.
is or not. But it's an actual tax. You have
You make less money now.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
because you can't afford as much. Like that is inflation. It's your dollar's not worth as much as what it was.
Right.
And back in the day, it could pay for this. Now it takes $4 more to do that. And the issue there is that in businesses they take a while to catch up, and people are not making it. They're making the same amount with less return on their dollar.
Yeah, I'm not
And
going to
so-
segue this into like some discussion about minimum wage.
Well, it's not only minimum wage; it's just in general wages, salaries. I think all over the board,
Yeah, they're stagnant.
which is just unfortunate.
Why not? I don't think a lot of people. I don't think most people get a 2 to 3 increase of wages yearly.
Well, I think it depends on how long inflation happens. Because if they give somebody a raise, they're not going to take that away when they're like, all right, well, prices are back to normal.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
So once they set it in place, it's permanent. But I do think this inflation will last a little while. I don't think it's going to go away this year, and I don't think it's going to go away next year.
Probably the year after that too.
And at that point,
It's the chip shortage.
well, that's part of it.
That was just a joke because I hear that all the time now.
Well, that's apparently one of the reasons used cars are so expensive because of that.
Yeah.
And I don't expect that to get any better,
No.
especially if China's flying fighter jets over Taiwan. So, yeah. Can't afford as much.
You can't. And then when you get a raise, you kind of don't even get a raise.
It's
You're
just,
just staying where you
here.
were.
You're just kind of trying to catch up.
Yeah.
Yeah. It feels like.
oh yeah, well, and I don't think, and I think a lot of people have left. What was it like called, the Great Quitting? There were so many people that quit their jobs because, for one, a lot of people weren't having to. They couldn't get evicted. For
Yeah.
one, so I mean, what's the risk of you can't get evicted, so you don't necessarily have to make money because you're getting your $600 a month if you're on unemployment, depending on what state you're in.
That's a risk, though.
I think a risk
Yeah.
people are willing to take. And
I'm curious how many people took that risk.
well, so the Great Quitting
'Cause
was
I know
like
a few
an
people
actual
that
thing.
couldn't get unemployment.
Well, I think it is harder here.
Sorry.
But like it was people leaving because they were like, I'm not getting paid as what I want. And now
You can make more money not working.
you've got
Yeah.
I saw a fast food restaurant was hiring like 13, 14-year-olds because
I
they
saw
can't
that.
they cannot get
Adults.
16-year-olds or 18-year-olds. And now you've got fast food restaurants giving like $1,000 bonuses for people
Yeah.
to sign on.
Yep.
So I think it's good for the worker, but not necessarily great for the business. But maybe the business should have been doing that already. Maybe
Yeah.
they're finally catching up.
Well, I mean, if
But
there's
I
something to
don't.
be said that the government is paying this quote unquote livable amount of money for these people, who are unemployed. There's something to be said that if that amount is more than you're making at a job that you're physically going to and working.
There's a lot to unpack there.
There is. I mean, it's not even worth getting into because
Because I think like with the government printing money and giving money, I think that's part of the reason why we're in the situation with inflation. Just because when you print so much money, each single one that you print off is worth less.
yeah,
So, yeah,
we could just keep printing money.
we could.
I mean, technically,
I don't think we have stopped for a long time.
we're not burning it fast enough.
So, yeah.
Have we exhausted that topic?
Yeah, I think so.
There was something about Nestle. Was that important?
He was the CFO for Nestle was basically saying the same thing
Okay.
about inflation. I think with consumer goods and groceries and food, it is for sure going to increase price wise.
I might, and you could do this at home. Just next time you buy groceries, like write down the date, how much milk costs. If you want to like see it change over a period of time, just
Surely
a few
there's-
items. You don't have to keep
Yeah.
track of your
It's like the
whole household goods.
Surely there's a website that does it.
I'm sure there
Oh,
is,
yeah.
but if you wanted to see how it was actually affecting you exactly locally,
Yeah.
because I'm sure we have different price points than other
Yeah.
areas.
Yeah.
I might start doing that.
Because milk in Kansas was and that might have been anecdotal, but it was way less than it was here.
Probably because of shipping, transportation. You didn't have to go as far.
Probably so.
I would
Had more,
imagine.
dairy farms out that way too.
Mm-hmm.
I was also shopping at the Superior grocery store.
What is that?
Hy-Vee.
Who?
Hy-Vee.
Hy-Vee.
Hyvee. You've never been there. It's a Midwest. I think it's centrally located in Kansas and Missouri.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
You should go in. It's a great time.
Hy-Vee. Oh, next time I'm in Missouri or Kansas.
It's like what Whole Foods wants to be, but not really, because Whole Foods is kind of not even a grocery store.
Amazon.
Yeah, Whole Foods is Amazon.
Yeah.
Grocery by Amazon.
Yeah,
All right.
where you can charge your electric car.
You can. And they have like little food lockers there. I went in there and they didn't have green beans one time.
At Whole Foods?
Yeah.
In Jackson?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not
Oh,
surprised.
you can also get vegan paper towels, and the rolls like that big around, and you get 3 rolls for like $10.
Oh, look. I have a story similar to that. When it was during the ice apocalypse last year, or was that the beginning of this year?
It was this year.
Yeah.
That's how long this year's been.
So I was like, basically didn't have running water, so couldn't effectively wash dishes, and didn't want to drive. Whole Foods is right by my house, and I didn't want to drive to Kroger. Was slap out of everything because no one had water, so everybody was having to have the same problem. So we wanted disposable dishes, dishware, whatever. Went to Whole Foods. They too had vegan, but these are vegan bowls. This is a pack of 10 vegan bowls, like paper bowls, $7.95.
My gosh.
I could have gone to the dollar store and gotten 10 for 10. Probably cheaper than that, but they were gone. I mean, they were all gone. That was the only option.
What is a vegan bowl?
I don't excuse my language right there. I don't have a clue.
It was like they're like unbleached, so they're brown, I think.
Is that what it
And,
is? 'Cause I thought, it was made of a tree. That's pretty vegan.
I mean, yeah, there's probably a lot more that goes into it, but yeah,
100% recyclable, something like that. I'm sure.
probably breaks down a lot faster.
Yeah.
There's been a pushback on paper straws
I'm glad.
because paper straws, they're terrible.
They
Let's just-
deteriorate.
Let's just put
way
that
too
out
fast.
there. It's terrible drinking with the paper straw.
One of the worst things in my life.
I
that
love the
hate.
turtles. I do love the turtles,
Yeah.
but
I hate wet paper. Like anything that, like, even like when I get to the end of the sucker, and like just that thought of licking that like paper, like stem of the sucker, like a lollipop, just makes me want to just shudder in fear.
you're just like, I don't want the rest of this.
I don't. And like the same with a popsicle. I mean, it's not paper, but it's a similar feeling.
Yeah.
Ugh. I hate it.
Paper straws. Yeah.
And then you have aluminum straws, and they just make everything taste different.
Yeah, they do. Metal straws, yeah.
Hmm.
For the water jugs, yeah.
The whole thing was just blown out of proportion. Like, you're not saving the turtles by eliminating plastic straws.
Well, it's only like one restaurant every so often.
Yeah, the Dallas airport has them.
So what we should fund is there's a nonprofit that goes out in the ocean and like cleans up trash. Like I think we probably should fund a lot of that. A lot
yeah.
more of that. We don't do enough of that. But
And more investigation into the dumping of illicit goods into the ocean.
oh yeah.
You know?
I mean, cleaning trash out of the ocean seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
We spend like millions of dollars researching like what rabbits do or just what bats do in certain situations. Well, we could spend money doing that. Or I bet we would raise a lot of money if we were like, all right, we need to raise money to clean up trash.
What if we just had a complete, an entirely different department, branch of government dedicated to disposal of trash in the
Well, they would
ocean?
probably just make it like a environment, which would be like the EPA.
Yeah.
So I imagine they have something with
that's
that.
thousands of jobs right there. Get them out there.
Yeah, government jobs.
Yeah.
Woo!
Keystone cleanup crew. We did it with BP. They did it.
Yeah, I think they did it. And then
Yeah.
they paid for it too.
Yeah, not nearly enough, but they did pay for it.
Well, I think they paid a lot of people.
They did. A lot of
people that
didn't.
probably weren't affected
They
by the
weren't.
oil spill.
Absolutely. That's
Yeah, I do remember that. That was terrible though.
Oh, that was atrocious.
Because I
That
was
an
driving to the
atrocity.
beach one time, and we went through the beach in Mississippi, and there were like workers out on the beach.
Mhm.
And then we went through Alabama, there were workers out on the beach, and then we got to Florida, and there were workers out on the beach. Like it
Yeah.
had literally just every single beach in the Gulf had oil on it. And
I mean, just the marine life that was lost because of that, and probably will continue to be affected by that for decades to come. I don't even know how you put a price tag on that,
yeah.
but at least it's a privatized company. You could do it as a country.
What else? I mean, there's so much.
There was.
The California governor might lose tomorrow, which would be, this is exactly how Arnold Schwarzenegger got elected to governor in California. It was a recall.
Yeah, I remember.
And he got, so Larry Elder.
He's a talk show guy.
Yeah.
isn't he? Like a radio.
Yeah. So Newsom was supposedly like one of the next in line to be president for the Democrats. They thought he was going to be like the national, because he was very popular. He came from San Francisco. I think he was the mayor there. And he's been in such trouble. He's had to get Obama to do an ad for him.
I
He's
saw
had
that
Kamala
yesterday.
come out.
Yeah, and campaign for him.
Elizabeth Warren's come out and campaign. He's been super worried. So I think like a week ago it was 50-50 on likely voters as to whether they would recall or not.
I mean, if he loses this, he will probably not be their candidate.
Oh, no doubt.
No.
No doubt. If you lose in your own state to a Republican, when
Yeah.
Democrats outrank Republicans in California 2-1, that means you've really messed up. And you're probably not electable throughout the country.
Why is it possible for him to lose then?
Well, I think there's a lot of reasons, because coronavirus, he shut down a lot of businesses during that.
But you're saying like Democrats will vote for the Republican.
Well, you don't necessarily have to vote for the Republican. You just have to vote to recall. And,
okay.
And they haven't, so the Democrats haven't set another person up
Gotcha.
because I don't think they wanted to upset Newsom. But now people are like, well, if he gets voted to recall, then Larry Elder's going to be the governor because you didn't put anybody else on the ballot. So
they're basically putting all their cards on Newsom.
on him, yeah. But there's like a huge there's a homeless issue there. That has been very bad. But I think the really coronavirus restrictions have really angered people so much that obviously 50% of California, even though it's very Democratic, want to recall him.
That's interesting.
So
Yeah, I'd like to see how tomorrow goes.
yeah, that'll be tomorrow.
So the vote is on the recall?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's do you want
yeah. Do you want
to
to?
recall Gavin
Yeah.
Newsom?
Yeah. So if 50% do,
It's just a yes or no.
yeah, if 50% do, then he's out, and that'll be it.
Man.
But what they really think is, what they're really worried about is, and not many people have talked about this, is Feinstein is one of the two senators there. They just appointed somebody because Kamala left, right? But it's the governor's job to appoint a senator. And Feinstein is 80, she's either 87 or 88 years old. And so if
Younger.
she, yeah, many more years. So if she either decides she wants to resign or if she passes away, whoever's in office at that point as governor is in charge of putting in the next senator.
Oh.
So if we had, if there was a Republican senator from California, that would really screw up some things in the Senate.
Oh gosh.
So that's like the when Doug Jones was the senator, the Democratic senator from Alabama,
Oh yeah. Right.
out of the daggone blue. So that'll be interesting tomorrow. And then we've got Afghanistan. The Secretary of State was getting questioned today. I'm trying to think of what the actual word is. Before Congress. He was testifying before Congress.
Yeah.
And getting questioned today.
I remember reading a little bit about that.
So they said 60,000 Afghanistan people came over without the SIV license, which was like the special license that meant they had helped us. So 60,000 people came over without that.
Oh yeah.
That is a lot of people.
Yeah, they didn't vet anybody over there. They're just like, hop on the plane, let's go.
I think in certain cases, I think at the beginning they didn't. I think at the end they started to, but like that image where the C-17 had like 480 people on it. I don't think they vetted those people.
No.
They're like,
more
all
of a
right.
corralling.
I think
Well,
they opened the door and they just kind of rushed in.
Yeah.
Kind of situation.
So
Hold on, let me get a head count real quick. Hold on.
So what he was saying is they flew to other countries, and then they did it there, supposedly. They sent out customs agents from the United States to these other countries, but 60,000, that is a lot.
That is a lot.
Where are they?
Well, I think they're going to be spread out throughout the country, because I think they went to Dulles in Virginia at the airport there, and then they were going to be spread out. But we're not even paying attention to what's happening on the border anymore,
Nope.
which I think is just as bad as it was at the beginning of the year, and it's worse than 60,000.
Oh yeah, I mean
That's
that's like a couple days.
Yeah, it was like 100,000 a month. I think at this point, if not more than that. How that is sustainable, I
I
just
think Mexico would run out of people.
I don't know.
How many people is that a year?
That's a lot. But it was like at a 10-year, 15-year high this year
Mm-hmm.
for like a month worth of people.
What'd you say, 100,000 a week?
No, I don't
Like a
think
month.
I think
Oh,
it was a month. Yeah. No, it might be higher than that.
Estimated.
Yeah. But now I don't know what our rules are anymore for, like, at this point, do we stop them and send them back to Mexico, or do we just, you know what, come on in? 'Cause I don't know. But Kamala had to like literally go down to El Salvador. It was El Salvador, Honduras, or Guatemala. I think one of those three. And she's like, "Don't come to America. Like we don't need you. We don't want you. Like we have an
was
issue
she
at the
talking
border."
to?
She was basically, it was like an address supposedly to help with illegal immigration because, you know, when the campaign was happening last year, Joe Biden and her were like, "Oh yeah, you know,
Come on.
we're gonna have a heartfelt border where we, you know, think bad things are happening in these countries and we're gonna accept you." And then I think they saw how bad it was, and then Trump was going to the border to El Paso, I think, and when he was about to do that, Kamala, like the day before, went to Central America to talk about it. So it's all political.
Oh, that's right, because they were wondering why she hadn't gone to the border yet.
Yeah.
And he went, and she was like right behind him. Just
Well, the whole thing when Trump was president was, we got kids in cages.
Yeah.
We got kids in cages.
yeah,
And
did have
now
kids in
I
cages.
think we have even more kids in cages.
Yeah, I think they're still in cages. Now they're teenagers in cages.
now they're in migrant facilities.
Well, so they ship them off. They do that. That's what made me think of it. With
They wanted to bring some of them here, didn't they?
Well, I think they sent some to Natchez.
Yeah.
So they send them like, and I didn't think they were giving heads up to the governors.
They're sending them to swing states for the most part.
I wonder why.
I don't know.
Could be.
They can't vote.
Could. Yeah. Well, what is I don't know, naturalization anymore. I don't understand what the rules are.
I've never understood what
I
the
feel
rules
bad.
were.
I feel bad for people who are actually doing it legally.
Yeah,
Because what is the incentive for doing it legally at this point?
If you really like long lines.
Yeah, and if you like waiting, because I know it's like a process. It's a
huge
long
thing.
process.
Unless you know old people
if you like paying taxes.
or you're important.
Yeah, paying taxes, being on juries,
Yeah,
voting. Yeah,
Can you get drafted?
I don't think you can. But again, you know, on the census, that was a whole battle. With Trump wanted to say, like, he wanted to add if you were a legal citizen or not, and then the court struck that down. Which it probably, I don't think it would have been a bad thing to know.
no,
Obviously, these people were worried, like,
I mean,
as
yeah,
soon as I
but,
say this,
it's
ISIS is
just-
going to show up to my door and take me away.
Yeah, I mean,
But, I mean, you do at some point have to be like, all right, well, you know, I do feel sorry for you, but
like we have to know like how many are here.
yeah. Well, you would want to know. It changes every day.
Yeah,
There's almost no way to know anymore.
by the thousands.
was our last census?
This is,
It's every
last
10 years, yeah.
But was it don't we have two? We have two types of censuses. Censi. Like every so often, we have to do an actual like head count instead of like a polling census.
Do we?
Is it every? I think I know what you're talking about. I remember reading
50
that
years?
somewhere. Yeah,
Bicentennial census.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, I think
I wasn't alive last time it was done. I don't
It
think.
might be 25 or.
I'm pretty sure that's a thing.
Yeah.
Like instead of whatever how we do it now, where it's just
What is the purpose of that?
something to do in the Constitution. That a
Okay.
census, the definition of a census, I think. Or I would have to further look into it.
Yeah.
That every man and child, man, woman, child has to be counted. And if you do it through, I guess it's straw polling, then it's not, every man, woman, and child. And so we might have done away with it. But I think it
Well, I think
Is a thing.
it cost New York a congressional seat by like 180 people,
that's ridiculous.
and then California lost some too. I think Texas gained like 2 or 3, but redistricting is going to happen this year, and I think that will be very interesting to watch. That happens on a state basis, and then I think congressionally, obviously, well, actually, I think state houses do that, and they make up the districts, and then what they're saying is the GOP controls the majority of state houses around the country, and that is a big advantage for them. But luckily, Mississippi didn't lose or gain. I'm just glad we didn't lose a seat.
Yeah. I haven't looked. I looked at the individual cities across the state, but I can't recall what our overall population increase was.
Did we increase? Like the Delta,
Or just, I mean,
almost
increase or
everybody in the
decrease.
Delta lost.
Yeah.
Rankin County gained. Most of the coast gained. Hernando, or really everywhere in North Mississippi by Memphis gained a lot.
Yeah, like
Tunica
South Haven.
lost people. You know how many people live in Tunica, Mississippi?
How many?
Like 700 people.
Oh wow.
I don't know why I thought they would, to be in the few thousands, but there's not.
Yeah. No.
It's less than my hometown. It's like 2,000 people.
Where are you
That's
from?
Small.
Walkerville? Don't say that online.
So yeah.
Yeah. Saints won yesterday.
They
38-3.
did. Famous Jameis.
Yeah. LASIK Jameis.
What happened to Aaron Rodgers, by the way?
He needs LASIK surgery.
He needs to get his hair cut.
I've heard that opinion multiple times today.
I think it's his hair.
You think that's what it is? It's like the opposite of Samson.
I don't know who, like, in the off season, he was like finding himself, and when he got to the NFL, he couldn't find a receiver.
No, what it was Jeopardy.
What?
He went on Jeopardy and he got all academic.
yeah.
He's dating Cheyenne Woodley. Cheyenne Woodley.
I seen some people blame her.
He was terrible though. I mean, they
He
were
was.
real bad.
That was.
I mean, when
bad
you're
on every
losing to
front.
Jameis Winston,
What are you talking about? Anybody in the NFL was
I-
losing to that guy yesterday.
where are they?
Yeah, they were. They scored the most points in the league. I mean,
Yeah.
they also played the Packers defense, which helped.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But
I mean, he didn't even throw for that many yards.
He didn't have to.
He just threw touchdowns. I don't think that'll last.
he had like a 33% complete pass for a touchdown.
Yeah, 1 in 3. I don't think that's gonna last. That's not.
Well,
that's
I
not
don't think he's going to
last.
throw for 85 touchdowns in a season.
I'm just
I
saying
agree.
the Saints like wiping out people.
Yeah,
I think
it's hard to say.
it just depends on how good he's going to be.
It's literally
he was
the
really
rest on the
good
shoulders.
at Florida State, and Alvin Kamara is obviously one of the best.
Mhm.
It just depends on if he is boneheaded. Like, I still remember when we were playing Oregon in the Rose Bowl, and he was like running around, scrambling, and then he like tried to throw, and it like slipped out of his hand, and he tripped, and they ran it back for a touchdown.
I think I recall that.
Yeah, so
That was
we were not great that year, but he did win Florida State a championship, national championship.
versus Auburn.
Yep.
Good
So,
one. No, he's got all the talent in the world, but it's just a matter of
you know who has all the talent in the world but can't win? Texas.
Texas.
Yeah.
They do have all the talent in the
What
world and can't
happened
win.
to them?
I don't know. You'd have to start. That's a 10 years ago type thing.
Mac Brown.
Yeah. I think the Will Muschamp not becoming the next head coach after Mac Brown was like a curse.
Well, he hasn't done well either, though.
No, I think it was a curse on everyone involved.
A curse on Will Muschamp too.
Yeah. It was just like there was a certain way it was supposed to go, and then it didn't go that way, and the university was just like, well, now you're Texas Tech.
Yeah, because I think Texas A&M's been more successful.
Mm-hmm.
I think Texas Tech has been more
They
successful.
probably have. I mean, especially their pedigree. They've been more successful on their expectations.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I mean, by
Texas is
expectation-
probably one of the most rich universities in the country. They have their own Texas network.
I don't know how long ago this was, but it was like, I guess it was like a hearing at Texas, and it was a Texas football coach, and it was like I can't remember if it was the dean or it might have been like the AD was they were talking about Texas's budget and how they had the highest like facilities budget or something in the country, and basically the coach was like, well, it takes a lot to win in or something like that, and then the AD's like, well, you don't do that a lot, do you? Or that's how much it costs to lose the A&M twice.
Golly.
I can't remember exactly what it is, but no, they have done nothing.
Well, I think that's why they're trying to move to the SEC, because they're losing recruits to Texas A&M.
Yeah,
And there's a lot of money to be made in the SEC.
There is.
But at that point, what? Who? It's basically who else is left. SEC champion's going to play whoever else is left.
I mean, I think this is a move in part I think this is to benefit the SEC, and this could very well be like a long game type thing. You get you one or two more teams.
Longhorn, long game.
Yeah, exactly. You got, you bring in like Notre Dame, even though they're not going to be affiliated with any one conference. If you could just like pull in Notre Dame, the two Michigans and Ohio State, you don't need any more.
Well, if they could pull in Florida State and Clemson,
yeah,
my gosh.
I mean, you just need a few more teams.
No need for another conference.
No.
I mean, you've got Oregon and Ohio State.
How about they'll just turn into like the Premier League or the Champions League, and you get relegated, and then that's just a superior system.
Yeah, my boys won this weekend.
I saw that.
So that was good.
Who did they play?
Leeds.
Leeds.
Yeah. One of our 18-year-olds got injured, broke his ankle. That was very nasty to see. It got dislocated, and it was like the camera was still on him, and you just saw. I was like, oh gosh. They didn't even show a replay because it was that bad. But they came out on the field and like put it back into place and gave him Penthrox. Have you ever heard of that?
Mm-mm.
It is apparently like a spray steroid or like a painkiller.
Yeah.
Like they gave it to him immediately. And
It's not that like cold spray though.
no, I'm trying to think. I'll have to look at that. I could be, but it was something that they gave him immediately. And yeah.
Advil's got that new roll-on ointment.
Oh really?
Mm-hmm.
It's like CBD.
Degrees of Voltaren.
Is that what it is?
It's like a cream. It's basically just like Tylenol you just rub on your
Wow.
arm or whatever. It works.
CBD. I'm telling you, they're just copying CBD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They missed the train on that one.
Yeah, but really with bigger companies, I feel like once they establish themselves, they are the ones that dominate the market.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's like Snapchat with their stories, and then Instagram was like, yeah, we're going to take that.
Yeah.
And we're going to be the ones. Because who really does Snapchat anymore? I mean, I'm still on there a little bit.
I think younger kids, if anything.
But Instagram took that, and then Facebook took that. And so,
TikTok.
I don't think the
guess.
Instagram Reels
Yeah.
is taken off.
well, Instagram Reels are basically trying to replace TikTok, what
Mhm.
TikTok is.
Yeah.
And then you've got Facebook and Instagram teaming up to incorporate those two things together to beat TikTok.
Can't beat TikTok.
I know you love TikTok.
TikTok talks like at the time.
Yeah. I like TikTok.
TikTok.
Reels is too much dancing. There's just
I've
it's
not looked at
almost
a single
always
thing on it.
dancing.
Is it the same thing like a feed?
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
not just like people you follow.
No, it's like suggested.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know what their algorithm is with TikTok. It could be like a year ago posted. Like the video we posted that went viral still gets likes like every day.
Yeah.
And I don't know how
get,
that
like,
happens.
You still get notifications for it.
Oh yeah,
I still think-
Let me look real quick.
There is a global as in not worldwide, but like application-wide algorithm that they push on you. I think like the Bama sorority thing. Were you part of that? Do you use TikTok?
I don't.
Okay. Did you see that? The Bama
Morgan
Rush.
did, but I didn't see it.
Were you on
Apparently,
TikTok?
I wasn't on TikTok enough, but I heard it was everywhere.
It was everywhere, and I don't do anything on TikTok that would put me in that kind of like algorithm category.
Like somebody liked that video 19 hours ago, and I posted that.
Like over a year ago.
Yes, I posted that in July 17th of 2020, and it gets about a like a day. And I'm just wondering how far down the TikTok loophole you have to be to get to that.
I don't know. I get y'all's now.
How many
'cause
likes does it have?
200.
53,000.
It has like 1.4
Is this
million.
is this the
views.
lawnmower?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know how that happened.
It's weird.
I don't know. Other videos I've posted on there I thought would do better.
Yeah.
Just it's all the algorithm. If you can, because
If you can get to the front.
it'll bust. It'll send it out to a lot of people at the beginning. That
Yeah.
is the most important part. If a lot of people like it at the beginning, it will blow up.
Mhm.
Like that's what happened with that video. Like it was
It gained
nothing
traction.
for like 12 hours, and then all of a sudden I got like 300 likes, and then I was like, what the heck? And then I was getting a like every second.
Were you nervous
No.
when it started happening?
I was
What
like,
happened?
this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I just like kept watching it happen. So I fell asleep, and I think it had like maybe 1,000 likes. And I woke up, and it had like, maybe not 1,000 likes, but like 1,000 views. And I woke up, and it was like 100,000 views.
Oh,
and I'm
wow.
like, oh my gosh. So yeah,
You still have that lawnmower?
it wasn't even mine. It was Austin's.
Oh, you use it?
It wasn't even my yard. That was the funny thing about it. People were like roasting me
Yeah.
about a fire hydrant being in the front yard. And
What,
then they
what
were
would
on-
anybody do about a fire hydrant being in the front
I
yard?
don't know. They were
That's weird.
aggravated about me not wearing shoes.
Well,
Well, I mean, that's...
They were aggravated that I wasn't cutting in straight lines.
my
I was
yard
just
was
doing
like
it
the
for
size
fun.
of this room, so
Yeah.
that's why I had that mower, that real mower, and like I don't know. I guess I had just gotten it, and like y'all came over, and you like I was like, here, like test it out.
Yeah,
And,
I just had fun with it because it was not motorized. It was just
yeah,
a push motor,
like thing you saw on like Leave It to Beaver.
which I thought was fun. And I think another thing why it was so popular is you could see instant results. People love watching like before, like and watching things happen,
Mhm.
like the process of things happening.
Yeah, it's like those videos on YouTube. It's like the satisfying videos.
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
it's like a hot knife through butter. Or something
yeah.
like that.
Yeah, I think it that was part of it. But so yeah,
I don't even remember how we got on this topic.
no, I don't either.
Something about... It wasn't about TikTok originally.
No, I don't know. Social media, I don't know.
I don't either. You got anything else?
Well, how long have we been going?
Oh, a little while.
And probably about an hour.
Oh, okay. What else were we gonna talk about?
I wasn't gonna talk about it, but I was gonna mention it. You know, the audience might want to look into the income tax of Mississippi. They're trying to push forward to. Some people are trying to push for. The governor's trying to push for its removal.
What do you think about that?
I'm not a fan.
Why?
I'm certainly not a fan as of now. I don't see right now any way to replace the income tax
Were they
from a
gonna
revenue point.
increase grocery
Tax. But they said, I think there's been like a moratorium, I use that word, on grocery tax.
Mhm.
That's kind of in the works, you know, because that's what people are afraid of. Gas tax, 100% will go up if this was to be pushed through. I'm sure there'll be, like I said, I don't know what their plan is. But, I mean, everything has to go up if you get rid of an income tax.
Do you think it would be cheaper for us,
No. Cheaper in what way?
just in terms of like revenue?
I don't see in any way this doesn't disproportionately affect your like middle and lower income families. Because I mean, you got to make that money up somewhere. I don't know how much more the federal government's going to give us. I don't think they'll be real friendly if we get rid of.
Well, there are a lot of states around us that don't have an income tax. Like I don't think Florida, I know, doesn't have
Does
one.
Texas?
I feel like Texas.
Well,
I don't know.
The governor said
Tennessee-
something. We were competing with Texas,
I
Tennessee,
think it's Tennessee. Yeah.
Florida, and maybe Georgia. Probably Georgia.
Well, it just depends on.
We just lack so much what those states have. we don't have, anything. We don't have the film of Georgia or Atlanta or the
Actually,
beaches of Florida.
Our film industry is pretty good.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know they were filming.
Morgan Freeman was at Millsaps 2 weeks ago. Like Canton.
Do we have the same type, like tax breaks? Because I know that's why
Yeah.
Georgia is like a big
Yeah,
deal.
with MDA, you have specific tax breaks for films and for motion pictures and shows. But yeah, Georgia.
we've had a good amount of
Georgia is the best
movies filmed here. Yeah.
and it is because of the tax breaks they give. Because I'm like Marvel. A lot of Marvel is filmed in Atlanta.
Mhm.
Like Captain America, I think, was filmed in Georgia.
Yeah. Most of it's probably in a green screen room, but
Yeah, it's not only movies. They have video games. They do also. They get tax breaks for video games. You can always tell because I think they have to include that little Georgia with the peach.
Yeah, at the
icon.
end. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, you always see
yeah,
that.
that's true.
I don't know about the income tax. I guess it depends on
Yeah, it's
what
completely.
the replacement is. I would love not to be taxed on income. That'd be great as a self-employed person.
Yeah, they'd have to have a good replacement for that because lower income families they don't pay much in taxes
Right.
anyway. So
So if you're making
it's
it
not
up
gonna do them any good.
exclusively through things that people are already going to have to buy, then they're just losing money.
Yeah.
And people who already were working because they're working.
Yeah. Well, that was what was great about the lottery, which I couldn't believe it took that long for us to pass that.
Yeah, that was insane.
Because that is actually funding some of the road repairs throughout the state.
And that's just another knock on medical marijuana and the fight against it, really. Because, we need as much revenue as we can get at this point.
Yeah.
And so the fight against it currently, because I don't remember if we ever talked about that. We might have in the missing episode.
I don't think we did.
I don't
But-
think so. No.
But I think we can get into this when this actually comes to fruition, if it ever does, because it still has to pass. I think the Senate, which it hasn't had any luck. And this is something that's been in discussion for a few years within the state.
Yeah.
So it might not amount to anything.
Well, I don't know what. Maybe we could recruit some companies. I don't know. Without income tax, that is a benefit for certain people, obviously, and businesses.
Oh, businesses, yeah.
But what does Mississippi do with our tax dollars? What actually does the Mississippi tax go to? I just don't. It's pretty clear in other states, the improvements they make, the districts, like the commercial districts they have. In Mississippi, it's just, I just don't see it. And I wish we
Well,
spent.
I don't think it's that much to begin with.
Well, and it might be a lack
probably
of
why.
revenue. I wish we would spend money seeing things that we could actually improve the state from a want to live there perspective.
Yeah.
So I don't think we do enough of that.
Is there like a chart somewhere where it shows you how they distribute funds?
Oh, I'm sure there's some. It's
Oh,
out
yeah.
there somewhere.
Surely.
We got to do. Well, we can't even really make it livable for the people that live here quite yet. And it's fine here in the metropolitan area, and I use that term loosely, but the amount of poverty that's in the Delta, and those people are kind of just stranded out there, and to no one's fault because these were thriving, and they were there for a purpose. They
Yeah.
had factories, or they
Oh,
had
yeah.
some type of industry as to why these towns existed, but. And a lot of those now, those factories, that industry is gone. And so now you just have these kind of wavering towns, little places who are just kind of barely staying afloat.
I felt like it was probably from sharecropping.
Yeah.
I think cotton was huge there.
You have Belzona, where catfish was, it's the catfish capital of the world.
Now we're fighting with Vietnam on that.
We've lost that fight.
Yeah. I think, well, with the Delta, honestly, Mississippi, and you obviously can't take out the Delta, but if you took out the Delta, Mississippi ranks decent. Like in other things, like with our GDP, it's not terrible, but the Delta is really bad. And I think marijuana, if we ever did pass that here, and then we're able to let that be, a grown thing in Mississippi, I think you would see a little bit of growth in the Delta. But right now, why would anybody want to move there? Because there's no industry.
I agree,
there's nothing. Somehow we did get there's 2 Grammy museums in the United States. One is in Los Angeles and one is in Cleveland, Mississippi.
Yeah.
So there's a culture there.
0% tax
But there's just nobody that wants to live there.
on tech industry companies that want to move here, take a hold into the Delta.
And you just got
I mean, you just
I don't know
gotta
if the
basically pay 'em to
infrastructure
come
is
here.
there.
It's not.
Silicon
I mean, we got
Delta.
plenty of Delta Silicon.
Well,
That Silicon Delta. That's the way. That's the only way. We got to do something with all that land.
No, I agree. It's a ton of land. You got to,
Wow.
and if we started having cloud storage there, like just
Yeah.
for Amazon,
Just
I
server
think that
farms.
would, yeah. I mean, or solar farms. I mean, same
That would
thing.
that'd probably even be even better.
There's ways to use that land, but like the poverty level is like,
But that
in
money
the
needs
Delta.
to be like distributed, not distributed in a
Oh, how dare you use that
socialism
dirty
way.
word?
But I mean that needs to help the folks in the Delta.
Oh, I think if you bring a business in, it will help the Delta. And usually when you have a business come in, it's like an incentive for,
Yeah.
people. You have to show payroll that was like from Mississippi. But it would also bring probably other people.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The Delta, it's a ton of cities in the Delta are below poverty level average.
I'd say most.
And that was in the census. A lot of people are moving away. They all lost population. So
I mean, the amount of cities, towns, because we don't have that many people. We have less than 3 million, I think, now in the state.
yeah,
But we have just so many towns now that are just, under 500 people. And they all require a school. Not all of them, but I mean, they require a school within a certain distance. And just money.
yeah. Well, I think the Delta is huge. If we could get that right, then Mississippi would be a very different,
Oh, absolutely.
a different place. Because the coast is growing, the North Mississippi is growing, and then Central Mississippi, where Rankin County and Madison, and I think maybe even Hines are growing.
Yeah, Clinton, probably.
Yeah. But the Delta is the one huge area of the state. Hattiesburg and Laurel are all really
Oh, yeah.
growing. But you've got the Delta, which it needs there's so many different things that could happen there. But yeah, I don't know if how you get the private land. Does the government eminent domain, or do they offer that to just buy certain tracts of land with big acreage? And of course, the flooding issues in the Delta, which are
Yeah.
still being fought over with the water pumps in Congress. So there's a lot there. A lot of potential.
There
really.
used to be a billboard, because I drive to the Delta every now and then, and there was a billboard. I can't remember where it was. It said, Trump flooded the Delta or something like that. It's gone now.
I think it was the Army Corps of Engineers that is the fight. That's who the fight is with to
Okay.
try to get the pumps installed. But yeah, I mean, farming is kind of going away. It's more you got to be. A lot of bigger companies are taking that over, so it's not as productive as it used to be. It's not as profitable, I should say. It takes more people to do it, more equipment.
And it's not consistent,
Yeah. And if
Yeah.
it's raining, if you have a bad year, then I hope you have insurance, and then subsidies. It's just not. It's not the way of living that it used to be.
No.
And then without-
I mean, don't get us wrong. We still need farming
Oh
desperately.
gosh, yeah. And I love this. I love family farms. Like I would if there was a family farm around, and I'm sure there is, but I would prefer that over something that's shipped to the grocery store.
Yeah.
I would rather have a family farm and help that instead of going to Kroger and buying milk that I don't even know where it came from.
Right.
So, yeah, the Delta has a lot of potential.